Welcome to another session of Sharia Clinic. My name is Angela Achieng Ochieng. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I'm also the founder and visionary of Sharia Clinic. What we aspire to do is to serve you legal insights in the simplest of ways. So we make the law simple for you to understand. So today we'll be looking at pre-contractual matters in conveyancing. That is what you should know before getting into land transactions. Because many of us are buying land, many of us are buying apartments, many of us are buying properties. So it's important for us to know what to do and the pitfalls to avoid. Now, before we start with our guest here, we had around 4 sessions with Advocate Ruth Tanui. I'll just mention I'll mention 2 of the titles we dealt with: the essentials of a conveyancing transaction, the essentials of a land sale agreement, and the responsibilities of a purchaser's advocate, as well as a vendor's advocate. So we dealt with that years ago, and it's also on our YouTube page. We pray that you will subscribe and support us. Now today, I'm joined by a beautiful guest. She's known as Nehema Rotich. Her profile is as follows. She's a lawyer. She is an alumnus of JQuat School of Law. She is a coach and motivational speaker. She has mentored several youth. She's also an author of 2 books, namely Transformational Power of a Vision, and secondly, The Nation's Savior Boy. I hope you can be able to buy her books and support her as well. And she also works at Mwiruri and Company Advocates. Hi, Nehema. You can unmute.
Okay.
Yes, you can tell us a bit about yourself, then we proceed.
Thank you so much. I think you have given the proper introduction about myself, and I wish not to add anything. And I can only say that today's session is very important, and I'm looking forward to people subscribing and also getting impacted by this wonderful information. Sharia Clinic is doing right thing here. You shouldn't miss. Thank you.
Thank you as well, Nehema. And for our viewers, it's not the first time we are seeing Nehema. She's been here before, around 2 times. So she's a regular guest. Now, I'll just move on straight to the questions. So first and foremost, please tell our viewers, what is the definition of a pre-contractual stage when it comes to conveyancing?
Thank you, Lindsay. Yeah. First of all, conveyancing involves the transfer of interest in properties, especially the land that we are going to talk today about. And there are different stages when it comes to land transaction in conveyancing matters. We have the pre-contractual stage, the contractual stage, the completion stage, and also post-completion. So pre-contractual stage is the first stage before even you get to contractual stage. Here is when the client comes and tells you, I have a land right here. I want to buy a land from somebody. Let's say that person is A. And then you're like, okay, yeah, I think it's a good deal. So what do? So there are so many questions that you need to ask yourself first. Inquire about the land property itself, inquire about the ownership of the land before you proceed. That is what we call pre-contractual stage.
Very well, Nehema. So maybe you can tell us, what are the inquiries or the requisition that someone needs to do before entering into this pre-contractual stage?
Wonderful. So there are very many requisitions that you need. First of all, you need to ascertain the ownership of the land. If person A comes and tells you, I am selling this land, or I want to buy this land, ask of the ownership. If these are natural persons, that's like me and you, just like me today and Angela right here, I need to get her personal national identity card so that I see. Are the names she's suggesting going against the names that are available in the title deed? Are they similar or are they different? That is the first thing. But for companies, you need to ascertain the certificate of incorporation, what we call CR12. Is this company registered? Is it even existing? If it is not existing, then that is a red flag. You should not proceed from there. And also ascertain who are the directors in these companies, the shareholders in these companies. Yeah. And then the second thing, you have to go to the land registry. You have given me your title deed. Yes, I can see them. But is it enough? No. I think as a diligent person, you should go forward and ascertain, is this land registered in the land registry? Or I am being sold something with a fake title? I know.
Nehema, you just talked about a title deed. So what you're saying is that a title deed is not enough proof that someone owns property. Maybe you can clarify on that.
Okay, yeah, I was going to go forward and discuss that one further, but let me just deal with this right now because you have brought it on. Yeah, most people say because he or she has a title deed. This thing is legitimate. Let me just give them the money and go home. I will have my land. But that is not enough. There is a recent case that was determined by the Supreme Court in 2023. It's about the bona fide purchaser, and even these people had the title very good. They had a wonderful title, and they're like, okay, so we are buying the land from you, just to give us the land. We pay you the money. They paid, yes. But later on, a problem came up about the ownership of the land. And these people are like, no, but we are innocent purchasers for value. We didn't know anything else. This thing is so legitimate. This thing is so okay. And we really don't understand why you are taking us to the court for the same matter. But the court is like, no. In as much as you have the title, and in as much as you paid money, consideration, what we call consideration, and in as much as you are innocent purchasers for value, but there is one thing you people should have known before, and that is what we call the roots of the title. How did these came about? Mtu alipataje this title deed? Yeah. And now when they went to the history of the land, they found that this land belongs to the government, and the root of the title, this land should not have even been sold to individual persons that they are owning. If they gained the land or they lost the land, they lost. So what is more important is, in as much as you have the title deed, you have to go to the roots of the title to understand the history in which the interest and the ownership in the land were transferred. Is that wonderful?
You might proceed. Well,
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. So I think, let me just deal with the matters in the land registry again. In the land registry, you see some of the lands that you are being sold, the owner might have encumbrance in the land, or the land might have been mortgaged or charged. I hope you're getting me. Caution and inhibitory and other encumbrance will put your land into you cannot do anything with your land unless a certain condition is fulfilled. Have you checked through them to ensure that you are not getting a land for which a caution has been registered? You're not getting a land for which the interests are in other person's name. You're not getting a land if there are other shareholders or other occupants in the land who claim certain interest in the land. You want to get something that is so good. Yeah.
So I'd like us to go through the next part, which is what are the objectives of a pre-contractual stage? Please tell the viewers, what are the objectives?
Wonderful. The objectives of pre-contractual stage, number one, is to ensure that you are getting the right title deed right from the beginning, so that you avoid many cases in court. And land matters take a lot of time in court. Yeah. Imagine you are buying a land worth 50 millions or millions of money, but because of just small thing that you did not ascertain very well, you lose all of it. You lose your money. And even when you are looking for a lawyer or an advocate to represent you in your matters, there are legal costs that you have to pay. Your advocate cannot do everything for you without any single penny. They will demand a lot of money from you. So you will have lost your property, lost your money, and also you still need to pay your advocate another money. That is number one. And number two, it helps you in simplifying things out. You get it once and for all. And it's very important that you involve an advocate here. I know there are so many of you who would want to say, no, I don't want to involve an advocate. You know, advocates, they want a lot of our monies. But now when the problem comes, you want to look for them and they will eat even huge amount of money. Look for an advocate.
Maybe you can tell our viewers what due diligence is as we proceed to the next question.
Due diligence means being diligent enough to do everything that you ought to do to ensure that you are getting something so clean, so legitimate. Yes. This includes, as I had said before, an official search of the land property. You have to go to the land registry and ensure that the name has been registered in the name of the owner who wants to sell the land to you. You have to ensure also that this person has been paying the land rates and the rents for the land before you buy it. Due diligence also calls you to go into the history, look at the structures about the land. Are there any disputes that has been happening to the land?
I'll just say something someone told us during one of the sessions. When you're going to buy property, ensure you go to the physically visit the site, see where the land is, and as you ask the neighbors, even that drunkard you'll find there, ask him. He might tell you, hey, this property has issues. It's undergoing succession. It's, the owner is doing 1, 2, 3 on them, or it's still under, we call it encumbrances, whereby it has been charged. It's a charged property and all that. So don't despise the fact of going to the site. It really helps. So I just wanted to boost your point. Thank you. You can proceed.
I think also I can say 2 scenarios that has happened, that I have encountered. And especially this happens for people who are abroad, who are not in Kenya. You work very hard, you get your money, but you have your friend. Namambia, oh, okay, can you look for me for a good land, a good piece of land I want to buy? And then you send your money. And then these people are like, okay, Sawa, we have identified a land and don't worry, we need this amount of money. You have not even seen the land. Maybe they have taken a picture of a forest or somebody's land. You don't know about that. And then later on, when you come to Kenya, you want to see the land. Those people don't receive your calls. And you have spent a lot of money. You see, it's very important. And there is another also scenario whereby a friend, a very close friend, sent his money again, and he was buying a land. And those people were so good. I think they were so good in making lies. They told them there exists a land, send this amount of money. He sent the money, and they took a picture of a certain land. Even in description, the description looked so real. But I'm telling you, there was no land. He didn't get the money. Like getting the money was a difficult thing. Yeah, very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you can. Yes.
I want to finish on that of physical inspection of the land. Also, it's very important for you to go to the land to ensure that the boundaries. You see, when you are talking about the land, you are talking about the size of the land and the boundaries. So you need to go there, ensure that the boundaries and the beacons are in place so that you are not buying a land whereby a small portion of it has been taken away by your neighbors or where you are encroaching on other person's land. It's very important.
Thank you so much for your insights. Now, to the second last question, maybe, please tell our viewers the importance of getting a lawyer's advice before getting into any contractual matters relating to land transaction. And while there, maybe you can tell us, is there a case or whereby, I think there is a case, but maybe you can remind us of some facts whereby the advocate had not taken out the practicing certificate, but they ended up signing. I don't know if you remember such a matter or such a case. And then they went to represent the client and all that. It became an issue. So they need to know that they need to go to an advocate who has a practicing license that is valid and who's actually a lawyer. Yes, thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you. I know this is very interesting. You know, I am talking out of experience. I think coming from Rift Valley, where land is everything. Yeah, if you don't own land, I don't think they can regard you as a man enough. Yes. So it is very important to look for an advocate. Advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I know, yeah, it's very important. And for you to know an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, this person must having a practicing license. And how do you know that this person is holding a practicing license? You know, don't look for somebody who is having a full suit and somebody who appears to know the law. Because there was a scenario whereby we dealt with a client sometimes back. And it's like, okay, you know, I went to the court and I found this person who looked like a lawyer. And you know, if somebody is in court, yeah, this person is a lawyer. And he told me you just need an affidavit. Then this person drafts an affidavit in a whole suit matter. And when she's inside the court, she's like, you know, I was advised to write an affidavit. And the court is like, we are sorry, mama. Hey, umekuliwa pesa. Yeah. So, and I know that human beings look for cheaper things, and cheaper things are always expensive. Look for somebody who has a practicing certificate. First of all, ask him or her, where is your practicing certificate? Are you having a license to do this? And how can you ascertain? You can also look through the LSK. You can find them online. Yes. And after that, you can proceed on. Pay the legal fees. They are not too much than the risk that you can undergo because you avoided an advocate. Yeah, and also when issues arise, the advocates themselves will be there. Also, they can stand as witnesses for you to say that this document, we drafted it very well and there are no issues. Yeah, so that you won't run into big problems in the near future.
Thank you for that. Maybe to our last question, maybe you can tell us what are the risks of purchasing land very casually? You know, some people, especially when you go to the ancestral land, and maybe you bring the chief and the purchaser and you're the buyer, and then you feel like that's it. So, what are the risks of that, of purchasing land very casually? And maybe also to our viewers, please tell them how does a land transaction go about? Should it be in writing? Should there be witnesses? Maybe just tell us, brief us on that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I know I should have said about the myths and misconceptions about buying land, and especially from relatives, friends. You know, sometimes we build a lot of confidence in our friends, and you're like, you know, if my friend has said that there is a land somewhere, and there is no need for me drafting an agreement or something of the sort, I'll just pay them, and so they will give me my land. And even you are not careful enough to ensure that the property has been transferred into your name. In the near future, his children will come and say, oh, this land is ours. We even don't have an evidence of your payment. Where are the payments? Okay, we have the receipts of maybe a certain amount of money, but it does not indicate for what purpose. Maybe you are sending him, but these people can fix issues. They can say maybe you are sending them for just their own business, other things. You don't have any evidence at all. It is very important for the court, and it also makes the court following through the documents that you have drafted. Yeah, I know of a case, and I know we still have a lot of things to do with our families, the communities. these people still have the belief that people are so good enough and they cannot do something evil to you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And there are others who are like, okay, God will intervene. We know God will intervene, yes. But again, you need to be so careful. Because even God is excellent in many things he does. Yeah? Even the book of Hosea says that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. And therefore you cannot assume and say that I will pray. The heavens will intervene. Others say the thunder will strike them. The thunder will not strike them because God has given you the law in place. Yeah. So it is very important that you look for a wakili. The wakili will draft the sale agreement for you, and he will ensure that the same has been properly executed. Execution in this sense means it has been properly signed against the date, and it has been properly witnessed. That is a very valid sale agreement that is enforceable before the court. And finally, in that sale agreement or buying and selling of the land is like a contract. And the law of contract says that the same should be in writing. It is very important that you write it down. I have a client who called me some days back and he was like, Nehema, I bought this land and we finished everything at the chief's office. Bravo! I love it that you went faithfully and told the chief that I have bought a land. But that is not sufficient. That is not sufficient. The law is very clear. The land matters and conveyancing are very much regulated by the law. Go look for an advocate. Let there be an agreement that has been drawn. If you don't see those ones, run away. You are at risk of losing your properties. And my recommendation is, if maybe you have purchased your land, you have given out your money, and you have not reduced it into writing, please go ask that person again. Can we reduce this thing into writing? Can we formalize it? Can I have my documents? So that you ensure you are very safe and you avoid risks of losing your finances and your land properties. Back to you, Wakili.
Thank you so much for the insightful question. So right now, I just want you to conclude. And in your conclusion, please also tell us about your books that you've written and how our viewers can contact you for land matters and for any other matter. So the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think I'm grateful for you honoring me and allowing me to have this wonderful opportunity. I also do look forward to contributing in the near future. So I think on matters of pre-contractual stages, you have really gotten it, and I can't repeat myself on the same. On my books, The Transformational Power of Vision is an inspirational book. It was in market since last year, 2025 on March, and talks about having a vision and the importance of having a vision, because if you don't have a vision, it will be like a house that does not have a wall. You will be chasing many things and still lose the very important goal. And the nation savior boy is very important, especially now that we are in politics and we are getting to 2027, when the Gen Zs are so anxious about who is going to be the president. Even me, I'm looking forward. Yeah, I know there might be a lot of surprises, yes, but the nation savior boy is a fictional story, but based on a true life story, that you can be somebody despite your circumstances, as long as you just decide that no limitation can bar you from becoming who you want to be. And you can reach out to me through 0798-843674. Yes, and we can have the books sold to you. Asante Wakili. Currently, I work at Muiruri and CM Partners Advocates, located at St. Ellis Building, a 4th floor, suite 405.
It is well noted. So our viewers, that has been it for Sharia Clinic today. We were just talking about pre-contractual stage. There are several other stages, as Nehema has said, but today we wanted to make it very short and very sweet for you. And we wanted it to also, for you to be able to be impacted by Nehema. You can see she's a very good orator and she's also a motivational speaker. If I give her the whole day, she can even preach for you. So it's it's a good session. I've enjoyed the session. You have reminded me of things I learned way back in undergraduate. So I'm also grateful. So this has been it. See you on the next session of Sharia Clinic. Bye. Enjoy your day.